In a distant land, there was a kingdom ruled by a wise and just king who had maintained peace and prosperity for many years. However, as is often the case with kingdoms, there were those who coveted the throne and sought to overthrow the king. Among these conspirators were a group of powerful wizards and warriors who had formed an alliance with the intention of seizing the throne. They had amassed a large army and were planning to attack the castle under the cover of darkness. The king, sensing the imminent threat, sent a small group of his most skilled and trusted soldiers to infiltrate the enemy camp and gather intelligence. The soldiers included a dwarf warrior, a human archer, and a half-elf rogue named Aravan. Aravan was known for his stealth and was tasked with getting close enough to the enemy camp to overhear their plans. With the cover of darkness, the three of them slipped past the enemy's outer defenses and made their way toward the main encampment. As they approached the camp, they could see that it was heavily guarded, with patrols moving back and forth along the perimeter. Aravan knew that he would have to be especially careful if he wanted to avoid detection. He moved silently, blending into the shadows and using his keen senses to detect any potential threats. As they got closer, they could hear the enemy soldiers discussing their plans. They had already divided their forces into several groups, each with a specific task. One group was tasked with assaulting the castle's main gate, while another was to scale the walls and attack from above. Aravan relayed this information to his comrades, and they quickly made their way back to the castle to warn the king. Upon hearing the news, the king immediately ordered his forces to prepare for the attack. He knew that he had only a few hours before the enemy forces arrived, and he had to use this time wisely. With Aravan's help, the king devised a plan to ambush the enemy forces as they approached the castle. He ordered his troops to hide in the surrounding forests and hills, waiting for the enemy to come within striking distance. The archers were stationed on the walls, ready to rain down arrows on the enemy soldiers as they advanced. When the enemy forces arrived, they were taken completely by surprise. The king's troops emerged from their hiding places and attacked the enemy from all sides. The archers rained down a hail of arrows, decimating the enemy's ranks, while the soldiers on the ground engaged in close combat. Aravan used his stealth skills to sneak up behind the enemy lines and take out their commanders, disrupting their command structure and causing chaos in their ranks. The dwarf warrior and human archer fought valiantly, using their skills to take out the enemy's toughest fighters. In the end, the king's forces emerged victorious, driving the enemy back and scattering their ranks. The castle was saved, and the conspirators were forced to flee into the wilderness. The king thanked Aravan and his comrades for their bravery and skill, and he knew that he could always count on them to protect his kingdom from harm.